Okay, Nina, we are live on Facebook.
Amazing.
Yay.
I
How
just
are
got the notification. We are live on Facebook.
you? You did? You got a
Yeah,
notification.
I did. It's working. It's definitely
Awesome.
working.
Awesome. And,
We are
and
live on Facebook.
and this is like the third time I've seen you today. This is awesome.
I know. I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, Cheryl, I just don't know how she does it. She has so much energy just to put out there. It's incredible. And yeah, I'm the lucky one really that gets to spend another little bit of time with you. So
Wow, thank you. I mean, I get my energy from you, right? I get my from all of you, and that's, that's the beauty of being in this group, group work together, is that we're surrounded by people with really good energy, and we just continue to all level up together. So thanks for taking some time to chat with me today. And I'm just really excited to, talk a little bit about your journey in the coaching program. And but before we do that, I'd love for you to just introduce yourself to everyone, tell everyone what you're doing these days, and because you've got some really exciting things going on.
awesome. No, thanks, Cheryl. I really appreciate that. So, hi, everyone. My name is Nina. It's so nice to be here with all of you live, but not live, I guess live with Cheryl. And I've been working with Cheryl since May of 2021, and the journey's just been, it's transformational, and I wouldn't say it's over. I'm a practicing healthcare professional and have evolved into building different types of income for myself. And the biggest goal right now is to build a different type of active income portfolio through real estate investing, which also allows me to build a passive portfolio and also a equity long-term portfolio. So the goal being to achieve different financial goals my husband and I have for ourselves today, but also for our future family.
Awesome, awesome. And you've got a really great program that I think people need to hear about, because I know in these days, in these times, it's really hard for a young couple, or for anybody really, to invest in real estate, and even just to buy that first property. So do you want to tell everybody a little bit about your program, and because there could be somebody out there listening that's ready for it.
No, I appreciate the opportunity, Cheryl. And so our program at N Square Property Solutions is to help empowered and motivated individuals and families to get, help them along their journey to home ownership. As you said, it's becoming harder and harder to own homes. And, I think the average or most updated stat is 30 to 40% plus of people's income are going towards rent. And so the market's almost escaping even an opportunity or a shot at home ownership. And so with our program, we help creatively finance and build out plans to allow people to pick the home of their choice, rent it, and have a built-in plan for them to purchase it at the end of the term. And my goal is to hold their hand through that process, empower them with mindset. And so it's incredible when I'm able to speak to clients and not directly talk, and I've actually mentioned you and Bob and all of the above through that. But it's very incredible to see how people's mindsets are so stuck in, this is not attainable, this is not possible. And this material has really even helped me on my journey with my clients as well. And it's not a program for everybody. There's definitely a market for renters and a market for homeowners, but we're really helping those who are really in it to work for themselves and get them into their home. Yes, that's goal number one. But goal number two is to help them with the stronger financial backing and foundation to make more educated and better informed decisions as they continue on their lives to achieve different family goals, vacations, investments, whatever it is. So
Nice.
bridge solution. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think it's an amazing program. And, I just know there's so many people out there that want to have their own home. And again, like, just don't know how to get it from a financial perspective. But then I love how you're taking it to another level, in terms of them getting their mindset and getting around the mindset of doing it too. So it's such a cool program. But it wasn't, when we started working together, it wasn't your primary, primary profession, right? It wasn't your primary source of income. And so So you've had a real transition over the past year. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, no, it's been incredible. I mean, I am a practicing licensed pharmacist. I still do it, on a very part-time basis. And I mean, you said it to me in one of our sessions last year. Well, Nina, it's not that and I never saw it this way, that, I wasted all these years in pharmacy. I would do it all over again, because I learned so much from the journey and got to work with so many amazing people and had so many amazing patients. But it was time for a new challenge and to do things a different way and do things a little bit on my terms. So I've transitioned from working very full time in a pharmacy, managing multiple teams, managing multiple stores, building successful businesses, to now saying, how do I do the same thing, kind of, but for myself with a new challenge? And the pharmacy industry is also evolving as well. And it was, I was not loving things when it came to retail or certain styles of just the structures around maybe the work structure that I was involved with or challenged with. And I think you helped me realize that I was looking to crash through and get to a new height and a new level. And my love for real estate investing came from when I was sitting on the back of a bus in Uganda with Nickens' whole family, my husband's whole family. And so many of them are entrepreneurs and involved with real estate investing. And for us, it always just seemed like this thing we didn't really know about. We buy a couple properties, rent them out. That's the best we know about it. And, through reading and educating and attending seminars, I just realized, wait, I have another calling. And no longer did it become running away from a profession that I didn't know where I was kind of going with, but rather running towards something where I can still make a difference, make an impact, work with people. And, even some of our discussions, it's what's next in my journey. And I finally feel I have so much clarity in my mind to now even think about what's next, versus being on the hamster wheel. I'm kind of outrunning the hamster almost, saying, where can I go next and what can I do next with this, while still hitting all my income goals and financial goals that we want to hit, to live life a certain way and provide service in a certain way and impact others in another way. So
Nice. You were just saying before we got on the call, we were talking about your journey coming into this, and you were in pharmacy. You had dedicated all this time to going to school, and a lot of money on your education, all of your adult years, and in pharmacy, being the top pharmacist in your area. And from my perspective, you are a natural born leader. I've told you that before. So I see that wherever you go, you're just going to take those skills with you, those leadership skills and all the things that made you successful in pharmacy. But how do you look at it now? Because, looking back, it was like, it was really hard to make that shift mindset wise, wasn't it?
mm-hmm. It was, I mean, I think you'd be the first person to say that it was almost miles of emails, lengths of emails, pages of emails that I wrote to you. But you know what? I'm so thankful, that somehow the right energies have just kind of come to me at the right times to be able to make certain decisions. The right people have helped support me all through my journey, whether it was as a child reading Seven Habits, to now and to now through pharmacy, now my journey with you and my journey with my other real estate mentor. It's all the pieces have come together at the right time. So very, very grateful for that. In terms of the evolution from being a leader, being a leader in that space of things, it took me a little bit of time, because I was like, oh, I'm giving this position of, I don't want to use the word power, because it never was a power trip in that essence, but this position of, let's say, having this leadership, a formalized team looking up to me, and now transitioning from that, there was a little bit of guilt involved, as well as not knowing, would I have that opportunity again, to guide people or be a leader to people or someone for people to look up to. And what I've also realized, though, is that since there are still people, even in that world of things, that look up to me and, want to have dinner with me or get my opinion on something. And so that's incredible. And also it's what we create for ourselves. There's many opportunities to be a leader, and it doesn't have to be in a formalized workspace or career setting, which I think so many of us professionals or working professionals get into this mindset that we can only own a leadership position in a structured organization. It's not true. I think leadership can happen every day in anything we do, whether it's through a rent to own program that as we do it ourselves, or whether it's working with other friends, family members, individuals who are also feeling stuck in their wheel of things, or whether it's in a acute situation. Let's say, I mean, I was telling you about when we went to Vancouver recently and we had a family member pass away. They just needed a little bit of leadership in that specific moment to sort things out. So being a leader, I think is, I don't want to say don't miss it from a formalized structure, but I feel like I'm still loving the opportunities when I'm able to be one still. I don't think I'm confined to it, to that one pocket of my life.
Right, right. So, when people come into this program, we always say to them, when you do this program, you're gonna need a telescope to look back on where you were when you started. And so if you think about that, you're looking through the telescope, you're going back to where you were when you started compared to where you are now. What's changed?
Oh my gosh, Cheryl.
How much time do we have?
Black book. I don't, it's there because I was sitting by the fireplace earlier.
What is it?
It's this black notebook I used to take notes in.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
Okay.
I was looking at that recently, and there was a note from June of 2021, and you'd asked me to do an exercise about what my current results were, what I was physically manifesting, and how it was making me feel. And I was in a lot of just doubt. I was in a lot of anxiety. I didn't, as much as I knew there was another way, I didn't really believe that it was possible. It was starting to, and it was all self-inflicted, right? I don't want to, if you've taught me many things, but if you could hone in on one of the things you taught me was that at the end of the day, we're responsible for our circumstances, our results. And so no matter how much I was looking to get external validation for what I was experiencing, it was how I was internalizing my stress, how I was internalizing my own issues. So it was impacting my skin, my eyes. Like I can't get laser eye surgery because my eye doctor was like, your eyes are like one of a 60-year-old person. It was causing stress rashes, scars. And when the dermatologist told me that you have stress rashes, I was like, I don't get stressed. Like, what do you mean I have stress rashes? But as soon as I started to work through it, and fast forward to today, just vibrating at such a different level. Um, you know, Deals are coming, leads are coming, and I'm able to help empower others. Other people have changed as a result of my change. My relationship with Nicken, it's always been good. He's always been so supportive, but it's even more fun, which is amazing as well. I'm so excited that we're able to take trips. I can take my laptops, have calls. I was in Tulum last month and I was having calls with clients. It's definitely telescoped out, and still a long ways to go. It's not over. It's very much just beginning.
Yeah.
But I hope that answered your question. Kind of a ramble, but
That was that was the whole, reason for doing all of this, is that you wanted to be more in control of your life and to have more time and location freedom. And I was just thinking about it as you were saying it, like, since I've known you, you were in Greece, you were in Europe for like about 3 weeks. Like you said, you were just in Tulum. Where are you going next? Where are you going? So we're going to Los Cabos this weekend. We're going to Jamaica next weekend. I mean, think about it. Like, I don't know if you've actually really just processed that in your mind. Could you have done all that in your other job, in your other profession?
No, I couldn't, right? I had too many people. I was the gatekeeper for too many people and too many things. Which again, I learned so much, and I'd do it all over again for that part of my life, but I was ready to kind of break through that and figure it out and do it another way. And no, to answer your question, definitely not. And the best thing is that the goals are still, there's so many goals and so many bigger things I want to discover about myself. And no, I couldn't. To answer your question, no, I couldn't.
And now you have the time to discover those things about yourself. You have the time. You have the, the time to reflect and the time to think about what you really want and how you're going to approach it. Um, so lots of great things happening. More freedom for sure. More flexibility for sure. And you're making a big impact by helping others with their own programs and building that generational wealth, that you're looking forward to for your family. And so you took, a similar path to some of my other clients where they started working with me one-on-one and then came into the group environment. What was that like for you?
It was really good. It was really great actually. So last year when I was working with you on a one-to-one basis, I was at this point of really making certain really big decisions for myself, for my family, navigating through all the cloudiness, the foggy thoughts. And it was definitely very powerful for me in that moment to have in those sessions, have the one-on-one. Fast forward to the end of the year, great, I made this decision and fantastic, Band-Aid ripped off and charging full steam ahead. And I was like, great, yeah, thanks, Cheryl. Thank you very much. And it's all good. And so kind of was on my own for couple weeks. And then I realized, okay, I made this decision that was so encompassing of me and so overwhelming of me. And I felt free. But now what? I have all these big goals and where am I going to go and what I'm going to do? And that's when I realized that it was the being in the energy of similar like-minded people, being in your energy, being the energy of the material was the next journey for me. And so transitioning to the group at that point was really, really beneficial because we all have big goals of where we want to go and where we want to get to. My biggest journey was I made that big decision of what I wanted to do. And then the next step was, okay, where am I going next now? And I think my biggest thing with that is, as adults, I don't feel like we do enough for self-development and self-reflection and the power of exercising the mind, right? The mind is, I feel like through all our TR material and through your teachings, our mind is, it's intangible. We can't actually envision it. We think of the brain, the gooey thing, right? But the idea is that when we don't do the work behind it to exercise those muscles, we end up overexhausting the brain. We're not performing at our highest efficiencies. We become a lot more negative and have doubts and all of that. So it really starts affecting our behavior. So I think as people start to understand the theory behind it, not even theory, the facts around it, it's very powerful with how much more we can accomplish and how much more we can do and how much faster we can not only hit our professional goals, but also start impacting all wheels of our life. And, in that, I would say when we started our journey as on a one-on-one basis in May, you made me do this exercise. And I told you, I think before, it was so powerful for me because it was where on the wheels of life, and I think it's on page 4 of your workbook for this workshop, how fulfilled do you feel in all these departments, or all these categories, right? Your spirituality, your relationships, professionally, financially, and I think there's 8 categories there. And when I did that exercise, I was like, wow, career, I'm at a 9. I never believe you can be at a 10. So I'm at a 9. But how I was feeling about life outside of that was lower, right? So it's like I'm at a height here, but at the cost of everything else. So do I wait till I'm 65 till retirement, or 55 or 50 or whatever age we plan to retire, or never want to retire actually now? That actually, I never want to retire, but more so, do you wait to start balancing out where you start getting fulfilled, or wait till you have enough money to do so? Or do you have to get creative in saying, how am I going to create balance in all these parts of life? Because I don't want to be like certain individuals I've seen in my life as well. Not in a negative way, but more so in a way where I don't want to wait to live life. I want to live life now. And so to answer your question, that's when I realized I'm not living life to its fullest in all categories. And how do I evolve my journey to get there? And now through the group coaching perspective, I'm working on all those other parts of life while simultaneously building my professional life. I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, it's interesting because you were at a 9 in career and then through our work, you ended up changing your career.
But I think
But,
that's 9 at the cost of so many other things.
right. But now everything else is starting to shift, right? And there's more balance and there's more fulfillment and there's more opportunity and more possibilities because you're able to, take that time to reflect and go deeper and really like you said, tap into the power of your mind. We have infinite potential. So it's really just about learning how to look at things in a different way. And that's what you're doing. But I think this happens for a lot of people where they transition or they are in entrepreneurship and they're trying to go it alone and without that support and those people around you that there is an art to developing an entrepreneurial mindset, and it's pretty key to your success, right? So just being tapped into the energy of others that are going on the same journey can really be helpful in supporting you and staying on track and staying grounded on those days where you feel like you're all alone and you don't, nobody understands you.
Absolutely, right? And the old paradigms kick in real fast. So how do you get out of it faster and get back onto the right rhythm of things?
Exactly. So in terms of the thinking and results material, what were the three things that I know there's a lot more than three.
Cheryl, it's a dangerous question.
What are the top three things that stand out for you in terms of what you learned in that program? What would be the top three?
Top three. So we, at the end of the day, are responsible for our own results, our own circumstances, our own environments, our own conditions, right? We can look at whether it's physical conditions, medical conditions, or whether it's anything else, stress or anything. At the end of the day, if we don't take ownership of it, that's it. No one else can. And it all starts at the level of thinking, right? And habits. So that's number one. Number two is habits are ingrained in us from a lot of programming that happens, right? So as children, we grow up and we start experiencing situations where that starts molding how we think and how we act, whether it's from seeing relatives or experiences at school or watching TV shows. We start to behave based on how we see things. And so in order to change the results we're getting, how do we reprogram some of those old habits? And being patient with that process as well. It's not an overnight success won't get us there. Rome wasn't built in a day. That's kind of my most favorite kind of saying. So that was number two. And number three is that, we are, what's number three? There's a few that are coming to mind. Number three would be the knowing doing gap. And that's something I'm actively working with now. And I think I've always knowing I want something logically, or knowing that I have to do something and then actually doing it, it's the gap is real, right? And we try to change it and work on it, but it's evolutionary and it's forever changing and forever adapting, because as soon as you hit your target of what you're trying to do, there's a new knowing and doing gaps. How are you going to make, jump that leap? And I think for me, I've accelerated very quickly in terms of closing some of those gaps, but when the gaps are real, the anxiety develops or that stress develops. Okay, I know I should be doing that, but I'm not doing it. What am I doing? And it results in a lot of non-productive action, right? So how do we keep closing that gap with productive action that we know is going to be self-serving? Mm-hmm. And then acknowledging when it doesn't happen. Don't make excuses for it, but figure out what you're going to do to make it better.
So you're closing the gap faster now.
Closing the gap faster.
Awesome.
It could be faster, but it's happening.
You're learning how to master closing the gap, right? Okay. And one more question. We're talking about money this week. We're in the workshop that I'm doing this week. We're talking about hitting, scaling to 6, 7, 8 figures. What are you learning about through the program? What are you learning about yourself and your relationship with money?
So what I've been feeling, and it's funny, right? You've always said that you're meant to hear what you're meant to hear at the right times. You're meant to hear it. And more recently, I've been trying to I've been realizing that I have a certain programming around money, and a lot of it's been built in from growing up. And my parents worked very, very hard to build what they've given to us, education. When I went to school, they said, never worry about the cost of food. You need to eat while you're studying, like go eat. But to buy one thing, you have to earn double, right? Because we talk about the 50%, beautiful 50% tax bracket. And so I've always been in this mindset of you got to conserve as much as possible. That lack mindset to say, okay, conserve, and eventually as you start to build money, you can start to spend a little bit, but then conserve, right? And so what I'm understanding about money for me is that I've always been more limited when I spend it for myself, on myself. But on anyone else, I love spending money. Like I love buying gifts for my husband. I love it. I love buying gifts for other people. I love, giving it out, or going on trips or doing whatever. And what I've noticed is that when we start putting it out there, it starts to come back. Obviously, in the right forms, if we're putting it out there, it will come back in the right forms as well. And so I'm realizing with my money, there is a definite gap in terms of being scared of it. And I'm trying to get more into the mindset through your teachings of being in the energy, and that money is just an energy, it's a byproduct, right? And if we continue to do great work behind it, money will come effortlessly and easily.
Mm.
And it's kind of reprogramming some of the ways I grew up, very thankful for everything I've been given, but reprogramming so that when we have families, and when, as our family grows as well, that we're able to instill the right discipline. It's a balance between instilling the right discipline while also teaching good habits, healthy habits, while still staying accountable and not being scared to open up the RBC login details or the TD login details, right? So
Yeah. So working smarter, not harder,
working
right?
smarter, not harder. Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. So if, what do you want to say to anybody who's thinking about doing this work? What would you tell them?
I think that I believe this work is absolutely transformational. Whether you are looking to evolve in your career, or change in your career, or grow in your career, whether you are looking to make a personal change, a life change, whether you're going through a tough time in life, whether you're looking just for a new way to do things or happy results, or whether you're constantly stressed or frustrated. I think that the power of doing the work for yourself is you will just learn to look at things another way, understand things in a different way. And when you first told me that you're going to start seeing people tick in their own paradigms, I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, sure, like maybe I will. But now I can truly start seeing, okay, this individual is stuck in this. This is where they're really stuck. It's not what they're saying they're stuck in. They're actually stuck at this point. And that relates to when I'm working with family, when I'm working with my husband. You start to kind of see things where people are more in their own paradigms. And I think by doing the work, you can also start helping all your friends and family members as well, indirectly through your actions, through your words, help them start thinking in a different way. So I think doing the work is very powerful, and it's not just watching a lesson a week, or it's daily repetition of work and doing it in your time, your space, and applying it to your own life in different situations. So
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, it really starts with the inner work for all of us, right? And then as we do that, we start to help others, those around us. So thanks so much for sharing your experience with us. And I just, love the thought of you sitting on all these beaches, having this and having more fun. And it's just like, it's so incredible because it hasn't even really been a year. And look how much your life has transformed. So again, like you said, you're just getting started, and this is just the beginning. And I can't wait to see where you are a year from now.
I
So
can't.
maybe we'll do this all over again.
Oh, I hope we do. It's the growth in all areas of life is exponential. And if anyone ever wanted to touch base or anything like that, or questions about the program, definitely very happy to help answer them.
Thank you, Neena. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to see you again tomorrow. You know what I'll do is I'll just post your link to your site too, for those who are interested in learning more about what you're doing.
Amazing. No, thank you so much. I appreciate the support, and I thank you for everything. I wouldn't be where I am today or where I'm going if it wasn't for your help and your support and your constant just energy and positive energy for all of us to be successful.
Thanks, Nina. I love it. It's my passion, and I get to live with purpose every day. So I just love what I do. I just feel so grateful. And I just feel so grateful to have people like you that are committed to doing the inner work and courageous enough to dive in and make the committed decision to do this, because that's really all it takes, right? It's
Absolutely.
just a desire for more and a commitment to do whatever it takes to learn how to achieve that. So let's just keep doing the good work.
And a decision, Cheryl.
Oh, the committed decision. Right? You know, it's not about the how, it's about what do I want, and just deciding.
Yeah, absolutely. Inspired action day.
Let the universe support you with all the resources that you need to achieve it. So
Absolutely.
we're going to just continue to have more fun doing what we love and walking the talk. And that's enough for everyone else to follow. I love that. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.